Thank you for joining me on my quest to find the greatest single-player PlayStation 5 game of 2025. We've had some crackers on the channel already. Death Stranding 2, AC Shadows, you said crackers. The recent Outer Worlds 2, Doom, Dark Ages, even The Last Berserker Kazan. It's now time for Kingdom Come Deliverance II. We might slip into a regional accent here and there. I won't. I am Couch Coop Esquire, and let's get started.
Oh, Dentes Fortuna you art!
What is that you keep yelling there, Sir Hans? What is that, Sir Hans? You really love hearing Henry, the main character, say Sir Hans loads in this intro. This intro is pretty spectacular. As I've said before, video games are leaning into becoming more and more like their other entertainment brethren film. It's a very exciting time, and Kingdom Come Deliverance II is potentially the prettiest game I've played so far this year. By the way, Ghost of Yoti is installing in the background.
Exactly! If anything in front of us even looks like it's moving, we want to know.
Keep your hair on, Nick.
It does do the thing. Everyone does the thing now. Start with all the cool stuff. You got horse, amazing armor. Everyone looks pretty badass for the time period. Yep, that's all going. That's all going to get stripped away. Quite literally get kicked out in your underwear. Let's have the discussion about what we're looking at on the performance front. An amazing full-blown quality mode. Went straight to it, stayed with it, noticed nothing out of the ordinary with it. Could have expected some strange stuff happening with this massive horizon that you're dealing with. No screen tear. Nothing. Again, this is another video where I have not even looked at performance. I'm doing that because it's on a 4K screen and I want to enjoy that lush resolution to go with this amazing landscape.
You haven't got a hope.
Kingdom Come 2 has come under some scrutiny. We do have to have a serious chat about this. It got thrown under the boycott bus by some bigger influencers. It's centered around the writing being not 100% heterosexual. What I mean by that is there's relationship options and dialogue that points in that opposite direction. Now, it's an RPG, you are supposed to have choice, Mass Effect, but the reason it fell foul is because the original game, and this to a certain extent, is very grounded. It wants to immerse you in what I call hard history, so stuff that's factual and in canon for the period and looks and sounds authentic. I do understand the complaints, but at the same time I want to make my own decisions on whether this is something I would enjoy. One of the things that attracted me to the first game, which I haven't actually looked at extensively, is that combat, that first person clang of swords, quite gritty face-to-face system which falls on some parrying and some reaction time. It is as good as I imagined in this game, but it comes with some caveats, so we'll get into that. And yes, we have a peeping Tom scene with some female characters in it. Steady on, Western developers. I was also taken aback at how story heavy a lot of that intro is and how locked in you are with your actions going forward for the front end of the game. This bills itself as a massive open world RPG, but that is not the case whilst you're getting established. But it's kind of a tutorial, wants you to learn about the sneak stuff and work out what sort of statuses everyone is looking at you in, and probably show off some of this gorgeous nighttime. A great use of torches and the alarm system, and obviously crouch is cool. You do actually have an option to be concealed, and that of course excites me with ranged weaponry, taking down camps, that sort of stuff. So I am sort of geared up for quite a rip-roaring adventure here at this point, and you get rescued, you wake up in some little hut somewhere, and there's the Bethesda style reveal where you are actually off that leash and walking about for at least 100 meter radius around this cottage. It is quite quest marker heavy, but nothing really pollutes your screen. This is not a Ubisoft game. You will be consulting that map quite often, and of course traveling, walking around or fast traveling is done a little bit like Dragon's Dogma 2, where stuff could happen to you in transit. Some of that is awesome, and also the UI and inventory is extensive. Like, there's so many slots for just your armor, let alone what you can carry on your belt. The ideas in that direction are awesome. The depth is huge. So again, at this point, I'm super excited.
Take that! No chance. Do it!
What I'm not overly excited about, however, is the dialogue or the relationship between Sir Hans and Henry. It's clearly written to be a ticking bomb. Without spoiling too much, it isn't something that's a permanent setup through the entire game. What is permanent, however, is making potions. Okay, it's just this one blew my mind. This is the most fiddly, complicated, remember something for longer than 6 seconds procedure I've ever had the misfortune to go through if making something that's going to give me my health back. Or even worse, something that allows me to save the game. It's got a very strict save system. If you do something larger, it will auto-save, but you have to make a potion in order to actually get that file on the SSD. And Sir Hans is unconscious for a large portion of that, which is awesome. Then, all of a sudden, the actual intro starts, prologue over, things are now going to start happening, you'd think. So sticking with the we've lost everything theme, you rock up at a smaller hamlet and then start having to sort of seek employment, find out what's going on with the castle. You're not allowed in. There is an arc being created here, and it's a pretty cool one because you're going to have to work up from the bottom, get all your cool gear going and kill loads of bandits. This guy's dialogue. Some of the voice recording is comedic, to say the least. I'm pretty sure it's intentional.
She's strong as an ox. And she stamps and bites when she's upset.
That dialogue thing is swings and roundabouts for me. Henry's is spot on. That regional accent is very close to what you'd imagine a character like that to speak like. This isn't set in England, but it's obviously a very rural setting and community. And then we'll swing into quite modern sounding dialects and also insults and terminology that just don't really fit with the period. The way this woman says folks freak me out.
They all promised the moon. With the city folk, it's bound to be better.
For me, it's like either do it or don't do it. Everyone's got regional accents or no one has, because the switching is kind of strange for me. But I'm strange full stop with that stuff. I'm heavily into accent. The UK's really lucky. You can almost pinpoint where someone is originally from by just listening to a few sentences. What is your accent, Coop? I will take comments on that because I purposely make it as sterile as possible to put people off the trail. But there are remnants of my homeland in the way I speak. You just gave it away. Can we get back to the game? We are actually running around, free roaming here. You've got a few side quests, few main missions, perfect little area to muck around in, meet people, maybe find some more jobs, duties, even get in a fight or two. So this is pretty excellent. Just lastly, on the dialogue and some of the lines, we bump into Andrew Tate's medieval arch nemesis here. Check this out.
Don't fear God, fear men.
Ah, Ghost of Yote's gonna be fun, isn't it? Just move on, mate. Let's do some more fighting, because we also lost Mutt, our faithful dog, and there is quests aligned to finding clues, looking into his whereabouts, and getting reunited with your famous companion is a massive draw. It's about now that I'm sort of sensing the game's model and message with reward loop and what's required of you to progress within both that story campaign and your character full stop. It comes with a territory with maybe a medieval RPG like this, but there is a lot of go and see someone else, not fetch quests so to speak, but just really dialogue rich interactions that are all quite linear feeling to a certain extent because you're low level on things like persuasion or bribery. I thought I'm just going to go off the beaten track, take a shortcut to a quest marker, and bumped into some high level wolves in the woods, also some bandits. It still felt like I was being shepherded in to a certain thing to do at a certain time. I imagine that grip is massively loosened the further you get through the game. I just expected it significantly earlier. I've also got someone's speech defect getting ridiculed here.
Piss him off, you know? Mess with him. For stealing our Maypole.
Warhorse, to their credit, have potentially come up with kind of a new thing here with the setup. There's not really anything as immersive and deep on a medieval RPG front. I mean, you have to look at Skyrim. And that's the other thing that dawned on me, is that Skyrim's got magic, huge goblins, flying dragons, dungeons, traps, a mount almost immediately, companions from the get-go, and 18 additions. I think it's unfair to sort of compare this to a sword and sorcery game like that, but my mind starts jumping when I'm wading through the terrain. It also does this blocked off area due to traversal height, so there is full damage, so you may not just be able to get to a marker because you haven't gone the extremely long way round that map road. Death Stranding did that to me a bit, but I don't mind that because that game is all about traversing massive mountains that are in your way. I think, and I want your comments on this as well, that this might be suffering from sequel syndrome. That means the first game was a lot more distilled, a lot more committed on a singular direction. And I actually feel that I should probably go back and have a damn good swing at Kingdom Come 1 and then come back to this, because I'll be far more accustomed to what the game or the series requires of me. It's clearly looking for a lot of investment on the time front. I wanted to be swinging my morning star around by this point and clanging some massive ironclad soldier on top of the head and using a bow and arrow, sneaking up on bandit camps, and I can see that's a very, very long way from what I'm doing at the moment, which is essentially pulling herbs off shelves, having to remember annoying things. I'm so surprised that woman doesn't go, "Stay where you are, you haven't washed up the pestle and mortar." Press triangle to use scouring pad. I mean, it's one of the most fiddly systems I've ever seen, and I think some people somewhere will probably find it fun.
Be careful. It's not safe.
Back to singing the praises about the game's visuals, I was bowled over by how amazing the rain is, the sound of it and the reflections in that river, and all the detail on the plants within that wet look section, and the evening and how the lighting works. This also goes for like fighting animations and horse animations, and back to that point about the time investment thing, this game is clearly massive, colossal in actual fact, and I think the content is laid out to make sure you don't rip through everything at high speed. You get to enjoy all of these different establishments within that absolutely gargantuan map. Yeah, and as mentioned, this is some 9th generation Thunder. I think if you're a large fan of this genre, this will definitely scratch an itch for you. And also, Kingdom 1 fans have been looked after pretty well with this sequel. The consensus online is this could be some people's game of the year, and that is completely feasible, because the areas that it's good in, it's extremely good in. I'm talking about that face-to-face combat, the map exploration, the questing system, dialogue. There's quite a lot of tongue-in-cheek humour there. I just think if I wasn't having such a busy year, I'd love to tip a lot more hours into this, and that may well eventually happen, and it will of course be dragged out for the end of the year to have that discussion against everything else.
How are you, Ignatius? Sorry. I thought now that we're partners, you'd be a bit more talkative.
Please do stay tuned for Ghosts of Yote. That will be dropping at some point next week. I will link all my other single player video game reviews from this year in the description, and of course on the split screen and local co-op front, Borderlands 4 is constantly getting patched and updated. Patch 1.04 will also be annotated. My name was of course CouchQ, and I look forward to seeing you down there.
Rip your eye!